Police are increasing their presence outside the High Court in Pietermaritzburg tonight ahead of a virtual court hearing into the corruption matter against former President Jacob Zuma. Supporters are expected to gather outside the court again despite the anticipated postponement of this case as Zuma is currently in hospital. Karinda Jagmohan is our reporter on the scene, live for us outside the High Court, in fact, in Pietermaritzburg. There you see her joining us live now. What are we expecting, Karinda, in the coming hours and into tomorrow?
Indeed, good evening to you. As you mentioned, police have beefed up their security outside the court. I'm standing in the parking lot opposite the Pietermaritzburg High Court just behind me, and you can see there are barbed wires that the police have placed around this area, anticipating that there could be protesters. Of course, numbers must be limited to less than 100 people because of COVID-19 compliance issues. And as you can see as well, there is a presence of the SANDF. Earlier on, we also saw a police presence of various police vehicles, and we do expect that tomorrow there will be road closures in this area with the anticipated supporters of the former president coming to court. Our sources have told us on the ground that there are people that have traveled from other parts of the country to Pietermaritzburg already, not knowing that the matter would be heard virtually. For them, they were expecting to see the former president for the first time since his incarceration last month. So they will be here trying to lend their voice to that hashtag Free Jacob Zuma campaign, despite this court matter being a separate court matter with regards to Zuma's current incarceration. But at the same time as well, we also expect members of the Senko Youth Congress that previously actually held a birthday party for the former president to be here outside this court. Now, the matter will be heard virtually, as you mentioned, as Zuma remains hospitalized. He had been conducting a routine checkup with now the Jacob Zuma Foundation saying that he still remains in hospital and therefore cannot be present physically at court and cannot be present throughout the virtual hearings. Because of this, his legal team will apply for this matter to be postponed. The NPA says they won't oppose this application. They will await, however, for an affidavit from Zuma's medical team to clarify exactly what has happened now for Zuma to be unable to come to court or to attend court proceedings, and also to clarify and shed some light on as to how long this postponement will be. Rather, tomorrow we were expected to hear oral submissions from Zuma's legal team with regards to his application for the state prosecutor, Billy Downer, to recuse himself from this case. Zuma has said that the charges against him with regards to this arms deal corruption trial is a political conspiracy. He alleges that the state prosecutor, Billy Downer, who's been at the helm of this for almost 2 decades, is part of this political conspiracy, and that is the application that we're expected to hear tomorrow. But of course, now with the new developments, the anticipation is that the matter will now be postponed going forward.
And Karinda, given that as it may be, we have always seen supporters of former President Jacob Zuma gather outside even before the pandemic. Now, during the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions, they've gathered in numbers in excess of what's allowed as per the gatherings restrictions in particular. Police have not necessarily dispersed or arrested them for gathering in contravention of lockdown rules. When you look at the presence of law enforcement today outside court, how does it compare with previous appearances, and do we know why there appears to be more of a presence today?
Well, we've not previously seen barbed wires like this outside the court. Like you mentioned, at previous court proceedings or procedures involving the former president, there has been a police presence because of the numbers that come in to support him, but not like this. And we have seen, of course, last month with the over-week period of unrest and the violence that touched KZN and Gauteng, calling in for the presence of the SANDF. One can say that it is perhaps those incidents that have pushed police to come through and set up these kind of measures to curb any supporters. It will be interesting to see tomorrow morning what their physical presence will be on the ground in terms of public order police. But we have seen the National Police Authorities speak about the fact that they have received communication and authorization to increase their presence outside the court because really of the unrest that we have seen over the past month. At this stage, though, as well, we don't expect to see those large numbers that we have seen previously when Zuma is physically at court and about to address his supporters. But still, though, what I can say is that police are anticipating and trying to just lock down and ensure that they would have some control of any crowds that would come through here. It's still quiet now, of course. In fact, you must remember that on one of Zuma's very first court appearances at the Durban High Court before this matter was moved here, we saw overnight vigils as well for the former president. No such acts happening here this evening. At this stage, it remains quiet with really just these barbed wires, kind of a sign of the fact that there is a very important case happening tomorrow, and that is, of course, we are expecting a postponement of that, and it's really unclear at this time for how long this case, which is one of the longest running court cases that the country has seen, how long it will be once again postponed for, just as close as it was to the trial getting underway.
Karinda Jagmohan live for us in Pietermaritzburg tonight. Karinda, for now, thank you.